Bad Luck Banging or Loony Porn explores the relationship between the individual and society by showing what happens when a young secondary school teacher posts an amateur porn clip on a website. The consequences of this decision will affect her life deeply. This is written and directed by Radu Jude, and despite having one of the wackiest film titles I've seen in a while, it didn't stop it from being Romania's entry for Best International Feature at the Oscars. It didn't make the shortlist, and I'm kind of disappointed by that, as I would have just loved to hear them read that title off at the awards. Now, while this starts off in one of the wildest ways possible, with this graphic sex tape being played very loudly, this actually isn't the kooky, out-there comedy one would think it'll be. I mean, it's certainly out there at times, but in a totally different way. Rather than be this action-packed series of hijinks, this is actually much more of a satire on society's hypocrisies, especially when it comes to their views on women. The film's divided up into several sections, but there are essentially two main halves. First is the lead up to this Inquisition our lead character Emmy is about to face over this tape, and the second is the actual Inquisition itself, where she has to face a group of angry parents who want her fired over it. And it's worth noting this was filmed at the height of the pandemic, and thus incorporates it into the story, with many characters remaining masked up and socially distanced even when outdoors. And I will say, while it's not exactly a focal point of the film, it is one of the better incorporations of the pandemic into the story. And given when this was filmed, it also makes sense why this isn't as action-packed as you think it would be, but again, that's also not the film's point. In the lead up to this parent-teacher conference, we'll see Emmy walking from place to place, visiting concerned family members, and making observations about the city. And these sequences will sometimes veer away from her to capture the interactions among random townspeople nearby. This is probably the more serious of the two halves, and is definitely the more existential of the two, with the main point of it being to capture the placement we have in a much larger society, and how we can get so swept up and lost in it all. There's definitely more of an aimless, meandering feel to these sequences, as it shows Emmy's mind wandering at times, not leading towards anything in particular, with us as the audience following her. It's definitely something I can see people being turned off by for just how dry it could be. The second half, though, is by far the better of the two halves, with a lot of very funny interactions of Emmy snapping back at these townspeople, who give off the vibe of an angry mob, despite not getting into any physical altercations and staying socially distanced. It's here where the film really thrives, taking a number of shots at power structures and pointing out the way in which these characters don't even treat Emmy like a human being, but then they'll show concern over some of the oddest things, showing how out of whack their priorities are. I think this is where the film got its point across the best in terms of satire. Plus, it does give us a solid ending that does play into the wackier side of things to go along with its title. So while this starts off on the slower side, the second half will certainly make up for it, and it makes Bad Luck Banging or Loony Porn a fun enough watch. While the satire can at times feel a bit too dry, especially in an aimless beginning, it does a solid job of getting its point across, playing upon provocative themes with a lot of laughs and an existential twist thrown in there. It might not be quite as loony as the title suggests, but it's still worth a watch. Bad Luck Banging or Loony Porn gets a 7 out of 10. So let me know, have you seen Bad Luck Banging, or are you planning to see it, and what were your thoughts? Did you find it funny? Have you seen a film with a weirder title? Let me know in the comments below so we can discuss. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it, and for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching everyone, and keep having fun with film.